Oh, we're froze. Oh, it worked. We were frozen too for a minute. We're live, brother. How you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you, Sheldon?
Good, good. Hey, so obviously this is exciting, right? It's Friday afternoon, Freedom Friday, sun's shining, weekend's upon us. But big news, right, Geno? You made the big move over to eXp, and we're absolutely thrilled to have you here and the value that you're going to bring. How you doing?
Sheldon, I'm doing well. Thank you for asking.
Life is
I
good.
Life is good, man, and I agree with you. It's a beautiful day. It doesn't seem like it's March. It seems more like
I know.
spring. We need some water, but I'm sure it'll come.
We do, we do. But so, I kind of wanted to touch on a couple of things. I mean, you obviously have, a very impressive background, have recently segued into the real estate world and really, I'm guessing probably took of some of your past and applied that going forward. Because, I mean, gosh, man, you've came into the real estate game and absolutely lit it on fire.
Well, I'm working at it, Sheldon. I want to do better this year, and I'm not complaining about last year. What I came from is a pretty diverse background, and I think I bring a lot of depth to the table that other realtors don't. And you
Yeah.
hit the nail on the head. I came from another brokerage, but I'm here to stay. And I came to eXp because eXp has a lot to offer, not only me, but my clients, as well as building my business going forward. And I'm very excited about that. And what does that mean? The back office support is incredibly awesome. I'm not old and I'm not ancient, but technology is not my friend. And I was able to create business cards today and a flyer from a new listing and do it without calling anybody. So that means the technology is up to speed with the latest that's out there, and it's real user friendly. And that's how it translates and trickles down to my clients, because then they
Yeah.
get 100% service from me.
That's totally it, right? Is utilizing the technology as an asset, right? So you can leverage yourself. And that's ultimately what it's down to, right? And that's kind of the big draw, I guess, right, with the company itself is hey, we've stripped out all of the fat and anything, any cost or anything that doesn't provide value, right, directly to our end consumer, we've stripped out. And
Yes.
let's focus on what we can do, right, to empower the agent, allow them to build that business so that they have more time to focus on their clients, right, and serve their needs.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And to really dive into my background, I got into real estate development in my 20s and had got into renovating homes, single family residence, apartments, you name it. Got my contractor's license. My family and I had a business that we provided housing for abused women, elderly, and handicapped. We also, in our apartments, had a Head Start program that we set up so the kids had someplace to do homework, get breakfast and lunch. And we designated an apartment to that. So they had someplace to go for some support before and after school. But the S&L crisis of the 90s hit, and we closed our business down, and I got into law enforcement. So I did that for 21 years, and I retired from that 3 years ago. But during my law enforcement career, I did investigations for 3 different agencies, and they kind of go hand in hand with the real estate business because the contracts are all the same. The real estate business is regulated by a state agency. So it was really easy for me to adapt and learn the contracts and implement them and understand the components of them.
Mm-hmm.
Moving forward, uh, like I said earlier, I bring depth to this business that I think a lot of my peers do not bring, and that's having the construction background and the real estate development background in my wheelhouse. I am a licensed general contractor, licensed bonded and insured. I don't do that for a living, but it just brings an element to the table for certain investor type clients, as well as a lot of people are looking for rehabs or renovation projects now, flippers, and they're not for everyone. I think you know that. You've been around this business a while.
Absolutely.
People walk in and think, geez, it needs carpet and paint. And I'm like, that crack in the wall means you got a foundation sagging. You know what I mean? So I'm not going to be their contractor ever, but I am going to be able to give them some advice and help them in the right direction and answer questions that are, within my capabilities at any point. Um,
Yeah.
and and I don't know, let me rephrase that. that comes with people watching too much TV and all these home flip shows. And you know, and it's just not as simple as they make it out to be.
No, you see all those, right? All those house hunter memes and stuff online, but you hit on the points of having these depths of knowledge, right? I mean, obviously the development and the contractor side, gives you some insight on the nuts and bolts, but then, the former investigations and law enforcement side, right, of really being able to understand people, right, and how to communicate with them and what drives them, and then I think that, from my experience and the little bit I've seen of what you're doing is, obviously highly detail oriented, highly structured. And, that just makes for such a better experience and seamless process for clients.
Yes.
When it's organized, it's detailed, it's system oriented, makes it better for everybody across
Absolutely.
the table. But so, I mean, where's your kind of your areas of focus of your business? I mean, you're, West Sac to El Dorado Hills to Rockland.
Well, that's a great question. I live in West Sacramento. And so what's really awesome about that is I'm centrally located to service buyers or sellers in as far away as up Highway 50 to Placerville or
Mhm.
up Highway 80 to Auburn, because I'm about 40 minutes from Placerville from my front door. I'm 35 minutes from Auburn. So any of the areas in between Roseville, Rockland, Ranch Cordova, Gold River, Folsom, I can be there in a short amount of time. I've done some work down in the Elk Grove area, but even with Elk Grove, depending on where a home is located in Elk Grove, I'm 15 minutes from Elk Grove if I shoot down I-5.
Yeah.
So I'm really living in a spot that I can service my clients, maximize their service and my attention on them.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's another thing, Sheldon. I don't want to. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention. When I'm working with a client, I make that client feel like they're my only client. When in reality, I'm working with 3 to 5 people at any given time minimum, and they all wonder how I return their calls, their texts, or their emails at a moment's notice. But I stay on top of it because I do this full time, and I treat them just as if I would treat my own family members if they're not already a family member.
Yeah, no, and that's something that, right, was ingrained in me in this business, right? It's treating those clients like gold,
Yes.
as you should, right? I mean, we're in a service industry, right? Their needs come first,
Yes.
fiduciary duties, all that stuff. But, and you want them walking away happy and turning into lifetime clients. And, ultimately, if they walk away happy, that's another cheerleader in the community, right? Right, shouting Geno's name, and the more cheerleaders you get out there, the better. So, no, I'm excited, man. You haven't, like I said, you haven't been at this game, on the sales side for all that long, but you've came out and built an incredible business very quickly, which I think is a testament to how you're handling. I mean, gosh, in 2 years' time, you're already double, the average production. So I'm excited to see where you're going to go, man. This thing's going to go to the moon. There's no doubt you're driven.
Absolutely, Sheldon. One last thing I want to bring up is, right now, home prices have just gone through the roof. And we have as a community problem. We got, how do we help our parents or our adult children? And so a lot of my clients are asking about properties that have ADUs or properties with enough space for an ADU. And people that are watching right now, well, what's an ADU? The old term for an ADU was either granny flat or in-law quarters, but those are politically incorrect. So we call them ADU, which is an accessory dwelling unit. And so in addition to my real estate license and contractor's license, I have a manufactured home license. And so with that, I can get you a brand new manufactured home and put it on a property that we've located for you. And right now out in the rural areas, I'm identifying properties that already have water and already have electricity, trying to stay away from putting a well in or bringing electricity 1,000 feet, at $100 a foot. That gets expensive, but identifying properties that are going to work for somebody who has a need in that capacity to have either bring on their parents or adult children so they can get off on, the right foot in this economy.
Yeah, I mean, you combine that right with today's material and building costs, and that can really be an excellent alternative for a lot of people out there.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Sweet, man. Well, I don't want to take up too much of your time. I know you're a busy guy. You're running and gunning. What's the best way for people to get a hold of you?
Sheldon, best way is a cell phone, 916-531-6800. You can call me or text me at that number and I'll get back to you immediately if I don't answer on the first try.
Sweet. I dig
All
it.
right.
Well, Geno, I'm excited to be in business with you. I'm excited as what we're all going to accomplish together here. And let's go get after it.
All right, Sheldon. Thanks again. Have a great day.
Hey, you too. Talk to you soon.
Bye-bye.